And we're back from what has it been like 2 weeks now?
It's been 2 weeks. Yep, we're still
Because
on
we were
schedule.
supposed to do one last week, but we were all at the Arnold, so we're doing one this
Yes.
week.
Oops.
But I mean, that's fine. Like people can just wait. Like we're
I
not
was
in a
thinking
hurry.
for some reason the week before the Arnold we had a podcast, but I guess it has been 2 weeks now.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
like 2 weeks. Because Amanda, it's been like 2 weeks, right? Like because we were supposed to do one last week, but it was the Arnold, so we moved it to this week so we could
Yeah,
we
that sounds right.
Yeah.
so so yeah, I mean that's basically what we were gonna go through today was recapping the Arnold and just life updates and things about above that and whatnot. But yeah, so we all got to finally see each other at the Arnold, which was so much fun. Like we all haven't been together since 2022 Olympia is what we said
Oh my God, that's so bad. But yeah.
when it was in Florida.
Oh my Lord, I can't believe it's
20.
been that long.
Oh my
Or
God.
no, it was
No, 20,
Vegas.
20. It was Vegas. Yeah, I was like,
It was Vegas.
yeah,
Yep.
Oh,
So
2023, right?
2022.
Oh,
22.
Jesus, even worse.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
2021 was Florida and then it was Vegas and then it was back in Florida and now it's back in Vegas. Oh,
The
look at
demon has
Aw,
returned.
he's got those
The
deer
demon,
legs. Yeah.
huh?
He's just like ready. He's ready. Oh,
He's,
okay. We're back.
for
We're back
those
now.
that are just listening, my dog was at board and train for like 2 months, and he has come back to terrorize us once again.
it.
No, I'm just kidding. He's a lot better. A lot better.
Good.
He okay, people relate to this. Like you have a breed of dog for, several dogs. Like you have them and they're amazing. And then you get like your third one or your fourth one, and you're like, this might be the last one I have. That's him. I love him like you love your own dog. And there's so many things about him that are so good. Like he doesn't have separation anxiety. He loves his kennel, potty trained in like a few weeks. You know what I mean? He doesn't destroy anything. Um, really loves people, really sweet. He's just a manipulative little fuck though. Like, oh my God. Like if you try to like anytime I try to give him a little bit of affection, like just snuggle him, he gets worked up and tries to I don't want to say okay, for just for people's nomenclature, he tries to play, quote unquote, and I put it in quotes because dogs don't really play. Like people think they play, they're dominating each other over and over.
Hmm.
Whether it's with a toy or just physically, like you don't see dog, like that's just not how they communicate. And sometimes they interact and like everything's good. He's the kind of dog that walks in, even though he's done nothing, and every dog turns around and goes, "What the fuck is wrong with him?" Because they can feel his energy, and he just walks in there thinking he's top dog, uh, rather than just walking in and being like, "What's up, guys?"
Hmm.
He's just super dominant and stubborn. The people we took him to are amazing, like absolutely amazing. And they've worked with Belgian Malinois. They're used to it. And he was like, this is probably the hardest Doberman I've ever had. He was like, he's
Wow.
great in so many ways. Like he loves training. He picks
Yeah.
it up super quick, but he's so manipulative. And
He's
he
smart.
tries to evade anytime you're trying to like redirect him. You know what I mean? Like if he's starting to act out and you're like, no, you can't do that. He will either one, pretend like, okay, so like one time I was walking him on a heel and he tried to get a little bit out ahead of me with a loose leash. And I just stopped and backed up and he screams like something bad happened because I took and
You're
the
so right. That
trainer,
is so manipulative.
the trainer called us and he was like, what, did something happen to this dog? Because I will like, we're not even touching him and he screams. I'm like, no, I know.
Hmm.
That's what he does. And then a dog, he'll be like wrestling with the dog and it'll like rip his cheek off and he's fine. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, he's trying to get away from the correction, is what he's doing. He's like, nope. Yeah. So anyway, he's a wonderful,
Odin's done things like that too.
yeah,
Like he, like, I mean, as well, Odin likes to get into the garbage can. So
yes.
when when we leave, so we have a lock on the lid now, so he can't get into it. But sometimes we forget, and like he gets bored because he's a Malinois. So like he's just like, I need something to do. He'll just get into the trash just to get into the trash, and then so he knows he's in trouble. And before Tyler even touches him, he's already like screaming on the ground, and we're like, dude, we didn't even touch you yet. Like, but he knows he's in trouble, so he'll do the
Yeah.
same thing. Hmm.
Yeah. And Enzo acts like he's ever been like hurt before. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, are you kidding me? You
Hmm.
have like the most plushy life. So he's so over dramatic for over no reason. But then I see him like with other dogs and when he's in like wrestle mode, oh my gosh, like someone could come in and like grab this dog and throw, and he would love it. Like he doesn't care. Um, yeah. And so finally we got him to kind of stop doing that because he's just trying to get you to stop telling him what to do.
Hmm.
And so he's so much better now, but he's one of those dogs, like you give him an inch, he'll take a mile.
Yeah.
So even if I let him like start leaning on me, which is a Doberman thing to do, I don't like that. Like some people are fine with their dogs walking all over them. I don't like it. I don't tolerate it at all.
No.
So I have to kind of like just nudge him away. Because it's a dominance thing and I'm not. And then if I invite him over for affection, all good. You can, I invited you over. But for him to just come over and lean all over me and no,
Hmm.
no. So what he can do is he'll just kind of stand close. And then if you pet him, he'll just take it and run with it. It's like, that's just one example. He does it with everything. So anyway, he's just too smart for his own damn good. Love him. He's going to be fantastic. He's also just a teenager and and it's tough because sometimes like everyone knows you've had a rough day or whatever. You just want to go snuggle your dog. And then if I do that, he just starts like wanting to like go all over the place. And I'm like, I can't even just like cuddle him,
I just want to snuggle you nicely. I don't want you to like feel crazy.
He doesn't. He cannot. And I've
Hmm.
had Dobermans that are the not polar opposite, but a lot of Dobermans, like they love cuddles. He looks at it as an opportunity to dominate. Like if I get down on his level and like, oh, I just want to like cuddle you, he will use as an opportunity to be dominant and disrespectful. So I have to just kind of like pat him on the head, and that's until he stops doing that. It's like, yeah,
That kind of stuff can be really hard. Like, do you guys do the like rule where when you walk in the door, like you don't automatically be like, Enzo, how's it going, buddy? And like how's like greet their dogs? Like, do you wait like 5 minutes before you kind of even acknowledge that he's there?
and he's in
Okay.
his kennel, so it's not like he's like just there when we open the door. But correct, exactly. Like when he was a
Mhm.
puppy and stuff like that, and even now, like they get riled up really, really easily. And so I only give him affection when he's calm.
Hmm.
I only give him attention when he's calm. He does not, because they don't understand, like even if they're really, really nervous. So let's say you're introducing your dog to like your puppy or whatever. He's like 20, 24 weeks old, had all of his shots, which is when you should start introducing them, make sure they have shots. Maybe they get scared because another dog just walked over kind of fast and nothing happened to them and they go, rah, rah, they start screaming. And most people will pick them up like, oh, it's okay. And they hold them. All you're telling the dog is that you get affection when you are anxious and
Hmm.
scared. It's a reward. So dogs aren't humans. They don't understand soothing. They
Yep.
don't understand all of that. So they just know, oh, when I feel afraid, that gets rewarded over and over and over again.
Yep.
So I'm going to do that versus with him, I would just ignore it. I would just leave it. If a dog was like attacking him, of course, I'd like rip the dog, kick the dog off mine, but that
Right.
never happened. They're just puppies and they just don't know. And something moves fast and they, always I just would ignore him. I'm like, you're all right. Like nothing bad's happening. Just let him work through that emotion. And then when he calmed down and came back over and just sat there, then I'd give him affection. Like, oh yeah. So he associates like, oh, I get affection when I'm in a calm state of mind.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. We had to do that. Like watching Tyler help like train Corn essentially too was he does a lot of the same things that you guys did and stuff. And like he trained um Odin, who's a Malinois and stuff, and very well trained dog. And so with Corn, he was just really anxious about a lot of things. And that's kind of why we found out that he would like try to go after people. Like I couldn't have anybody over because he just was so anxious about new people. And now, like as long as we're home, anyone can walk in our apartment and like he doesn't bat an eye, you know?
Mm.
And it's because he learned like, oh, I can be calm and like this is okay. And for me, learning that like the coming through the door and not greeting him right away was like hard at first because I was just so used to that. And like you said, dogs are not humans. Like we can't humanize our dogs. And like even still, Tyler will still talk to me and be like, Kayla, you're humanizing him. Don't do that. Like you're gonna make bad behavior happen. It's like I still need reminders, but it's been like a million times better. And he just listens so much better and he's so much calmer and stuff too. So it's crazy the differences that you can see. But the amount of people that humanize their dogs now, oofta. And
Yeah, it's tough. And the thing is with that, I don't blame people because how would you know one way or the other unless someone told you, like,
right.
hey, by the way, this is how dogs think. And I know that you, like, we as humans, we frame everything based off of our own experiences because that's all you have to go off of. Like
Mhm.
you're not just born with all this innate knowledge of how every animal thinks and how they operate. And it's just a lot of people just don't know. And they just all they know is how human brains work because they are one, hopefully. And so you're like, oh, that's how I think through things through. And now, of course, with children, it's completely different. Like you don't treat a child just like you would a puppy. They're two completely different things. But with dogs, like we can't tell them like, hey, I know you're scared. It's okay. Whereas a child, you of course want to do that. Like you wouldn't just like ignore a kid and wait for it to stop being upset. Like that would be abusive. But with a dog, it's like, assuming it's not injured or hurt or anything, it just got a little startled or it's being anxious or whatever. Or like with lightning or thunder, for example,
Mhm.
because people when you console the dog, all they know is this gets affection. And so they think it's a good behavior to do, even though it makes them feel really bad. Versus like I've never had a dog afraid of any of that shit. Like fireworks when they go off, I've never had a dog. He might like just look up for a minute and be like, what's that? But never, I've had a lot of dogs. Well, not a lot, but I've had several dogs and never um, because it's not a big deal. It's nothing like, and he's just never thought to make it anything. Um, so yeah, people just don't understand they live in the present. They don't live in the past. They don't live in the future either. They just kind of react. So yes, we love you. You're a good boy. You just, you know, have obstacles. He's
We
gonna be
don't
really
treat train
good.
anymore either.
Do what?
We don't treat train anymore either.
No, I don't at all. No,
No.
I never tree train. Like
Mm-mm.
not never when they're puppies for sure. But
Yeah. Hmm.
no, I don't either. There's no yeah, I don't want to I'm not bribing my dog.
Nope. I tried to do that with corn with like string cheese and like I told Tyler the first time we took him for a walk, I was like, you got to bring the string cheese with us as his favorite treat. And he's like, I don't need that. And I was like, okay. And sure enough, first walk and like
Yeah.
had him walking right next to him, like no big deal. Sat when he stopped. And now that's just what they do. Like they load into the vehicle, like we set them down, unleash them, they wait until they're called to load into the vehicle, stuff like that.
Mhm.
They never walk through doors before either one of us.
Yep.
We are the dominant, and that's just what you have to establish. So, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really good. And then we can get off dogs in a second. Sorry, everybody.
full
I
dog
think it's
lesson.
I know, right? The hard thing is that people, where they get like people, if they saw a lot of times if they saw how I handle my dogs, they would not love it. Even though like I'm incredibly kind to them, I'm just not as touchy-feely in the beginning. And I hold very firm boundaries. Like I don't let my dog on the furniture. And if people do, hey, it's your dog, your house, whatever you want to do, that's fine.
Mhm.
And a lot of people will have dogs that just have naturally really calm demeanors and they're not looking to dominate. They're just pretty happy being like the beta in the pack. And that's just naturally where they fall. And so those dogs can kind of walk around and do whatever. And it works out totally fine because they're not constantly trying to push it and see where they can take you over. Right. So it's like, they get on the bed and they just sleep quietly in the corner and they're sweet. And then they get on the couch and just curl up. They don't destroy everything and walk all over you and act a fool. Because those dogs are just naturally like really laid back and there's no issue. But then you have a dog like him that you take that same owner and they get another dog like Enzo. Oh my God, that dog's going to destroy their life because it's just immediate. They're used to that other dog that was just really sweet and calm. And then you get this dog that's like, oh, I'm going to take you for a ride, brother.
They know. They can sense
Yeah,
it.
100%. They know. So yeah, I think it's just like, yeah, when you get a unicorn dog like that, that's just chill, dude, I've had a Doberman before that I let her do whatever. Like she could get on the couch sometimes. She never did anything wrong ever. So it was like she had less boundaries because she stayed in them anyway. She would never put a paw out of place. And that was just how she was.
Hmm.
And then this one, anyway, dog stuff.
Dog things. Carolyn
Uh,
is still on the search for one.
I know where. I just need to put in that application as soon as I get a place.
Yes. Do you have
So
to wait till you move out of this apartment then?
yeah, so I did apply to do fostering for German Shepherds. And immediately, like when they were doing the calls, you get the adoption interview, they call the apartment building and they're like, they're on the restricted breed list. And I'm like, anyway, about that. So yes, they are on the restricted breed list, at least here in Virginia. So even Dobermans, Belgian Malinois, German Shepherds, and a couple Husky breeds are on the restricted list. So it wouldn't be until I move into my own place again. Um, and I do have my house and it has a 6 foot fence, so I'm not concerned about that at all. But at the same time, like who knows if I'll return there. I think I could just buy another house somewhere else when the time is right. But at least like, and I've always kind of been back and forth about putting my application in because I know it's a long wait. It can be like 2 years of waiting.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so I'm almost like, oh, do I put my name in the bucket now? But you need to have a place first, I would say, before doing that.
Huh.
yeah, it'll probably make your life easier too that way. Like having a dog like that in an apartment, like it's hard enough having a Doberman and they're not nearly
Wouldn't be
as,
able to.
yeah,
Yeah,
no.
not even a chance. Like I would be moving out immediately as soon as like
You're
I would,
like,
I would like
no.
buy that first house that I saw. I'd be like, okay, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah. Well, that'll be fun, dude. I think you would, oh my gosh. Like having a dog it's so incredible. Even when they're challenging, because it's still like, I don't know, you know how it is. It just gives you like another little bit of purpose. And it's like when I look at Enzo and him just being how he is, I'm like, I'm really grateful that we have him because he's the kind of Doberman that would go to somebody that couldn't handle and he would get passed around. You know what I mean? He'd probably get taken back because that can really bad habits can form when you have someone like you too, who know these dogs and can give them like a life where it's like, yeah, dude, we gotta be harder on you in the beginning, but then you're gonna be anxiety free. You're gonna know your boundaries. You're gonna know leadership, and you're gonna be happy, and you're gonna know you're taken care of and safe. And their life is so much more peaceful when they have those boundaries. And I don't know. I think it's great when people like you too, like can do that for those big dogs that a lot of people just they can't handle them.
Yeah, and it's also too is that they have very specific training that not the average Joe or Sally is really going to understand how to handle. And at the same time, I wouldn't get a young puppy. I wouldn't get one that was younger. I would rather be able to adopt one that's already retired because usually what happens is the handler obviously gets first dibs. And so, but usually if the handler already has one dog or has, several, you can't have more than three inside the home. So then that's when it goes to civilian preference. So
Mm.
that's where I'm very much interested to see, yes, I'm at the bottom of the bucket, but there's hundreds of retired dogs that also need to be adopted. They do also have the puppies that don't make it through the program, which is adorable. Like you're too silly to
Yeah.
adopt. So we need to give you a private home family dog. But so that's where like it would be a retired adult, like I did with my first Bengal cat. She was already 9 years old when I got her from a rescue.
Bengal
The
cats are so
thing is,
pretty.
yeah, oh my gosh, I want another one so badly, and I think I would get a kitten for a Bengal because I already have Elsa and she's already 10 years old. So if you're going to integrate another cat, yeah, get a kitten.
Mhm.
But at the time it's like, ooh. And also the same thing too. I have to consider, the dog has to get along with cats, and that's not very common at all, especially for
Mhm.
German Shepherds. That's not common.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For real today, and the poor dog was like terrified of this kitten. And I was like, oh my God, that's gonna be me.
I love that. By the way, guys, do we care that I'm just like making a prep meal?
No, go for it.
No,
You're on
eat,
I'm
prep. You
like,
gotta eat, dude.
yeah, eat your
eat that. Yeah.
Isn't it also like Guy on Fuad's podcast, like just makes food all the time?
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah. Guy is always in his kitchen.
Yep, pretty much. So it's fine. It's whatever.
I know.
So
Every single time it's like time to make a meal if the podcast started.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But you gotta have
Just,
a snack, you know. Gotta
I
have
know.
snacks.
I'm
What's
making
up
my
for
little
our podcast?
yogurt bowl thing.
Yeah, what are you making?
So it's Greek yogurt with berries and stevia, and then I put a little bit of peanut butter on it, and then I crumble this granola bar on top of it for some carbs. A couple of my girls know, like, whenever they want a sweet, I'm like, this is like, I feel like a Greek yogurt bowl is the only way to have like a decent sweet treat and prep where it's not like a bunch of processed shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like high protein, and it's not like you can get like some volume in there with some berries on it and stuff, and you can put pretty much like almond butter. No, this just came out of this raspberry.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Whoa,
Let's see.
that's crazy.
Yeah, there goes the stem.
I do the same thing though. Off season, I add oats to my yogurt and then I let it sit in the fridge for a little bit and it soaks it up and makes it like thicker. So, I mean, clearly you need more calories in off season, but like you said, even during prep, just having that little bit and like you can add a lot of berries for a little bit of carbs and then like I usually like some granola. I add a little bit of granola on top and just having that little bit of a crunch in there is like perfect and it's like 250 calories, like not even a whole lot. So, and it's high protein. So it's awesome. One of my
I've been
Yeah, I,
oats.
oh, go ahead, Carolyn. Go ahead.
Oh, just saying like that's overnight oats, just real
favorite.
fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oats,
Mm-hmm.
then that's where
I
it's
bought
like,
a box of those Kirkland, like the Kirkland version of the soft and chewy, like,
Oh, I heard those were good.
well, I bought the box because in off season, because I was like, oh yeah, like I'll just grab these, take them with me to work. 'Cause I need things like in my car that don't like go bad, just for like some extra carbs that I can just like keep in there. Well, the box has like 70 of the bars, which I should have known because like Costco, but I was like, oh, there's like 30 in there. 70
Oh
bars.
my gosh.
Yeah, no, I know. What in the living fuck is going on? I'm like, is this like a meal storage container? Like, Christ.
Literally.
So now I feel like really obligated to eat them. And so they're only, which I'm still like in the earlier phases of prep, so I have the room for it, but they're 100 calories, 18 carb, 3 fat. The
Oh,
protein, who cares? Because we don't track that protein anyway.
yeah. It's
Well,
gonna be like
track
what,
it.
1 or 2 grams?
One, yeah. Uh,
Whoop-de-doo.
so yeah, it's got these little, and the ingredients are like pretty good. I mean, it's a little bit processed, but it's not bad.
Not compared to like the like Sunbelt chewy granola bars that you get from Walmart.
Yeah, oh, exactly. That's why I was like, well, I just take this and I just like crinkle it over top of the little thing. Once my carbs drop below like 150, it probably won't be happening anymore, but
Mm-hmm.
not quite there yet, thank God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have you guys ever seen those like the Belvita like breakfast biscuits things? Costco had a box of those in like blueberry, and I bought a box of those because I thought the girls would like them. Well, they like them, but I like them too, so I put those on top of my thing. And it came with like 50 in the box too. So like I'm finally just running out of those. And yeah, they come with a lot. So thank God to Costco.
I love their
Yeah,
holiday.
dude, I mean, I love these and I don't know, but like that's a commitment.
Oh, they're good. They're real good.
70. I'm like,
That's a
I make
lot though.
one a day, but shit, I don't eat one a day. Well, I eat one a day now, but
Carolyn, what were you saying?
Oh, the Belvita holiday flavors when it comes back around, definitely get on it. Like the gingerbread was, I
Ooh,
was going through those. I think it may be in like 2022, but it was like a thing for a while. I
that sounds real good.
could not stop eating them. But no, actually, my diet has significantly changed just on my own experimentation. Right now, I'm just doing pasture raised chicken and grass fed beef, some wild salmon, like walks here and there, doing the raw butter and berries and bananas, and then rice and potato for carbs.
Nice.
Yeah, it's actually helped a lot. I did have a like very minor flare up, but like ever since coming back from Japan, just because I noticed like, wow, there you're eating rice and fish and also a lot of fermented vegetables here and there, and skin never looked better. So everything was looking so much better. And then, just decided to continue it when I got home. And it's been incredible. Like it's so,
Nice.
yeah. So I would definitely like say autoimmune conditions, consider doing animal based. It's not, completely carnivore and it's not keto, obviously, because we still like keep in the fruits, keep in the
Mhm.
gluten, especially for training. Keep that all in, and it's pretty incredible.
Nice. That's awesome. I'm glad that it's working. Like
Yeah,
you're feeling good is like the most important part.
yeah, exactly. And it sounds restrictive, but honestly, you can make multiple different types of meals with all those foods that I listed. And then
Hmm.
also taking beef collagen. I haven't gotten to the liver point yet. I can't look at it. Like I'm like, I gotta take that. I have to take it in pills. Like I take just the heart and soil pills right now. I couldn't eat it like raw or anything like that. That's just crazy.
So mm-mm.
I'm
I'll
sorry.
just take a pill. I don't want to eat it. Mm-mm.
That's why I buy the pills and the collagen, and then I'm good to go.
Hmm. Hmm.
There's things I'm just not willing to do.
Nope.
No, no. Oh, what was the
Nope.
other? Um, like sea urchin is now like a thing, or sea moss. People are now
Oh,
eating.
sea moss. I was like, sea urchin, you get at like sushi restaurants, but yeah, the gelled moss. Yeah,
Ugh.
dude.
No
Oh,
thanks.
And then everyone tries to convince you, no, this is really good. It tastes like candy. Like, get fucked. It does
Yeah.
yeah.
not.
You take like 1 teaspoon a day, and like why? Yeah,
Like,
no,
just eat your
might
food.
be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
No,
And there's nothing wrong with it, by all means, but it's like always like, no, this is going to cure your life. And it's like, no, it isn't, guys.
No,
you're
listen.
gonna get cancer from something. Everything gives you just a little bit of this or that and cancer, blah blah blah. But do the best you can. Don't use like plastic containers all the time. Look at your cleaning materials, whatever, your fragrances, all that kind of stuff. But like you can't like necessarily like just put yourself in like a bubble, basically. That's just like what is life then?
Speaking of cancer, have you guys had the Taco Bell fries?
No.
Dude,
Are they in beef tallow?
they are fucked up good. I'm telling you right now.
Oh,
Was that
It,
the other day?
huh?
Was that your refeed the other day?
No, I would never. No, 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 no. Cameron would be like, what the fuck are you doing? No, I would never like get fast food on prep. But
Got
anyone listening to this in your off season and you're wanting to get like just a really not good for you meal at all. The Taco Bell nacho fries, the seasoning they put on those things with or without the nacho sauce. Like if you don't like nacho cheese, which I don't really like nacho cheese at all, but the Taco Bell one is the only one that I'm like, okay, I'll set it aside. And for anyone out there that's gonna shame me or shit on me for fast food, I eat this like so rarely. It's just like my fuck off. Okay. Like I love it. It's the Taco Bell nacho fries. I'm telling you right now, if they bottle that seasoning, girl, I'm gonna pour it all over my chicken. I
so
got Dan turned on to it and he gets it like on for his cheat meal sometimes. And I smell it and I'm like, oh,
you're gonna be in prep and you're just be like, Dan, can I just smell it for you? Like, can I just have a smell? And you're gonna like just have a food gasm.
the smell of French fries like hot coming out of a fryer for me on prep fucks me up every time. And like I love French fries, but that smell, I'm just like crispy, salty. Ugh. So anyway, if anyone's looking for a cheat meal that's has zero redeeming qualities to it, but tasty as shit, go get those.
Your butthole might not like it later, but your mouth will.
No, they're not spicy. They're
Oh,
just like
really?
no, 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 no. They're not spicy.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but I also really like Taco Bell, so
Mhm. Speaking of potatoes, so you'll love this. Once a year, Tyler has an expo that he has to go to, like in Grand Forks, and it's a put it's put on by the potato farmers. So they literally have a stand there of just potatoes, all the different ways and stuff you can make a potato, make French fries, everything, and it's all fresh there. So then he goes and he's just like, I'm just gonna get my big bowl of like different types of French fries and potatoes, and that's what he has to eat during
these
the
are my
year.
kinds of people.
This is the
We
Midwest.
we need
Potatoes.
we need to go
Mhm.
like
We yeah,
off season and just go to potato festival.
I would love to know all the ways I'm not eating potatoes.
Facts.
I'll have one of everything.
So
Yeah.
speaking of potatoes, in different ways of like on the go. Okay, so when I was in the 7-Eleven in Japan, walk in and there's just this glass case. And you know how like they roll like taquitos, on a grill? Like
Roller dogs.
roll what?
Kayla, roller dogs, me and Carolyn, no.
Not a
Roller
Midwest.
dogs.
Aren't those like corn dogs or hot dogs?
Yeah, like on the little rollers.
Oh, I was thinking like taquitos.
Oh.
Oh, the taquitos on 7-Eleven on the rollers that look like they
Yeah.
came out of someone's asshole already.
Like it's those. Okay, so take that, but like a clean, like extra clean container,
Yeah.
and put the yams on them, and they're all baked, and they're just rolling. You can literally just go in and buy a potato to go.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
It was beautiful. I'll send you guys the picture because I was so fascinated
Just
by
like
that.
a baked potato to go.
Literally, and that those are Japanese 7-Elevens. Yeah, you get your egg
Nice.
sandwich. You can get a potato. You can get a musabi. You're onigiri. You're good to go.
Nice.
Guys, I was watching, speaking of egg sandwich, I follow a bunch of like foodie people that travel. Um, and this girl was like talking about the egg sandwiches in Japan at the 7-Eleven. There is nothing that will disturb Dan more than not just mayonnaise, but an egg salad like situation. And so I was like on my screen, I was watching her, and he goes, he's like on the couch next to me. He's like, it looks like she's eating a cum sandwich. What the fuck is that? That man gets so triggered by any kind of like salad. Oh my God, I was dying. I was like, it's just an egg sandwich, Dan. He was like, no, that is fucking vile.
Oh God. Tyler has a big thing with like people and like their like eating and how they eat. Like so like on shows, especially if people are like on the show chewing with their mouth open and you can like hear them like smacking. He's
Oh
like,
no.
oh, I can't watch this. He's like, we gotta turn this off. And like he will literally just turn red and like just like get the ick. It's kind of funny, but I feel bad.
I feel like, especially in prep, like we all have those like really quirky food habits. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
you don't realize how fucked up they are until you start going on other people. Like you travel on prep and they're like, "Are you okay?" And you're like, "Yeah, why?" And you're like, it took you 52 minutes to make your breakfast, and it looks like you're having some kind of like religious experience." You're like, "I
You're, I do the same thing, and like, there's a certain way you prepare it. You have to put everything together. You have to like put it a certain way, and then you eat it in a certain order. Like, there's a whole thing to it, and then you got to lick the plate when you're done.
yep, it's a ritual." It's like
Hmm.
that's when you know you're like, "Oh, no."
Because you got to try to like make this little tiny meal last a while.
Oh, and like if I'm cooking for 50 minutes, that's like 50 more minutes to me that's like surrounding food that I'm not just like sitting somewhere starving.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I like
Hmm.
counting hours and minutes.
Hmm.
The Arnold.
I was gonna say, okay, the Arnold.
Yeah, about that.
So, what was your guys' favorite part of the Arnold?
Well, aside from like, you mean like as far as like the show, the
Yeah,
series,
like
guys,
favorite experience
seeing-
you had at the Arnold, favorite part of the show, like what was your favorite?
I would say obviously like hanging out and just seeing you guys was
Yeah.
my
Hmm.
favorite. But in regards to like the actual show, classic physique. Seeing Matt Grego and Logan second and third to Mike. Oh my God. Those guys, like Logan looked like the improvements he made from the Olympia with his conditioning are insane.
Hmm.
Matt Grego coming getting up there. Oh my gosh. That was I don't know why. I love seeing that. Bikini was really cool too. Like seeing Vanya win and her like emotional response being the first African American woman to win Miss Bikini International. That was she looked insane too. Like, she was the perfect balance, wasn't too muscular anywhere, and her conditioning was perfect. I feel like Kim Odo just comes in and wins the Olympia and the Arnold titles all the time.
I mean, you're not wrong there. Yeah, I will say that. And it was cool to see, Chris Aceto in the crowd as well. And then also just Yoda getting that recognition as well for the win. So, but no, Logan looked absolutely insane. So, really excited to see, where Classic goes now because these are now the next generation after Chris.
It's like a changing of the guard. I'm assuming, I
Hmm.
mean, I don't know if Laura Lee is competing in the Olympia this year or not. I would assume that's her intention, but
Yeah.
I know she's had some stuff going on.
And
Um,
Marine looks incredible from today's check-in.
I saw
Morgan's
that
making a
too.
little comeback. Yeah.
Great. I don't know if she'll
Like,
do
yeah.
probably do a show before the Olympia because that's
She
what she's looking for right now. But I don't know which show.
I would think Pittsburgh, but
That's pretty soon. Yeah, like five
8 weeks,
weeks. It's
isn't it 8?
May, the second weekend in May.
Yeah, so that's like 8 weeks yet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she could be ready in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
plenty
she
of time.
that like doesn't look ready and then suddenly ready.
Hmm.
People to watch
Maureen
her.
comes in softer though. Like they like her a little. Her and Jen Dory are like they're probably the softest of all the bikini girls, I feel like.
That's why I admire Dory's look so much because that's the one that I would be most relatable to.
Hmm.
Also, like no correlation whatsoever. Complete, comparing my last physique to Jennifer Dory. Like,
No, I
com-
know what you mean though. Like the look that you want, that the way your body holds body fat. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
not like the look that I want, but like you said on the other second half, it's like, what does your body prefer?
I
Because
can't relate to any of them because my glutes are shit.
we're also super tall compared to these girls.
I'm so tall. Yeah. Well, I mean, Laurelie's 5'8", and so is I think Phoebe around for so they're close, and then Masa is 5'10", but she doesn't really compete very much anymore.
Yeah, true. She hasn't competed in a hot minute. Now I
I
think about it.
know.
How tall is Issa Pacini?
5'6" or 5'7".
Oh, okay. She just looks taller then.
She does.
Yeah, she has, I think, really long legs. Is that why she looks taller, maybe?
Tall waist, like torso.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
that's
I think she's 5'6".
okay. Okay.
So she's not short. She's not like itty bitty.
No, because you can tell, like people that like people like Ashlyn, like it just looks just like little, you know? Yeah.
Actually, all the top three were all shorties.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that was cool.
Mm-hmm. Carolyn, what was your favorite part?
Hmm. Besides Theo.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, sorry about that. He looks kind of petrified.
It was hilarious. It was great.
Yeah.
Like, how is that man not used to people coming up to him?
His
Yeah.
English is so good. I mean, the last time I saw him was in 22 at the Olympia, but he competed in 23 as well. Um, but no, yeah, he looked very petrified, but his English was great and it was wonderful, catching up with him. Of course.
Okay, we gotta tell the story though, okay? Because people that don't know this, it's hilarious. So we were at Saturday finals, and we all went down to to the lower level to go to the bathroom and stuff. Well, we took a picture, went to the bathroom and whatnot, and we came back and like we had spotted like Theo over there, and Theo was Carolyn's favorite open bodybuilder, and so
Nice.
we're like, go talk to him and stuff. She's like, no, 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 and so she comes back, and he had like moved a little closer to us, and Tyler goes, hey Carolyn, there's Theo, and like yells it. And so of course he whips his head around and Carolyn like looks at us like, and then she just has to like, and she just turns and just, hi, I'm Carolyn. Just goes with it. It
I
was
know
fun.
he's out
A
with Ian.
proposal.
Yeah, he did that with Ian too.
Yeah, he just yelled proposal. But also, I'm so happy, Amanda, that you went up to Ian as well, because you wouldn't have done it unless we dragged you over.
Well, because okay, first of all, okay, so,
We all got embarrassed this weekend. We'll just say
yeah. So
I
Ian
did it to myself at
here
least.
is my favorite open bodybuilder. I'm fully aware he's retired. He's still my favorite. Favorite physique. Like I know he's not the best physique, but I love his physique. And I also think he's hilarious. He's like my favorite open guy. And I've met him before a couple times, just like at the Olympia or whatever. But I feel like I don't, guys, I feel so weird. I'm not like the kind of person that I'll ever stand in a line to meet somebody. And
Right.
it's not that I don't think anyone should. I just like, I feel very weird going up to someone and be like, hi, like I know all this stuff about you because you put your life out there. You know nothing about me, but I like you. It just feels very weird. And
Hmm.
I don't know what to say aside from just like, I love like the content you put out or whatever it is. And I don't know, usually afterwards, I also feel weird. So I'm like, it's cool seeing them in person over there, but I
It
feel like
makes you feel like a fangirl, and you don't want to do that because they're just another person.
they are, and I know
Yeah.
that, but it's also like, and I know that I'm sure that they love like having people come up to them and just tell them how they've like positively impacted, other people's lives. Like who wouldn't want that? Um, I don't know. I'm just a little bit, it's just uncomfortable. I'm just like, I don't know. I never really know what to say. I'm just like, I like your body. Not that I would
Cool
say that.
body, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's just such a weird, it's such a, our industry is so, it's weird. But
Yeah.
But it
no,
wasn't
I like
really.
Ian's like perspective on a lot of things. And I think he's really funny.
Hmm.
So anyhow,
Well,
got to say hi.
He was really nice. He said hi to all of us, so that was cool.
You know who I loved meeting was Fuad. Not at this one, but I met him at
Last
last.
year
Yeah.
when we saw him at Starbucks,
Yeah. He was
that was
really
cool.
cool.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it wasn't, he were just like, he was in line like in front of us. So I was like, hey.
And like we both were, it was like the same scenario. We both were like, do we like go up there? Like, what do we say? And then Tyler's just like, just go do it. And like, so we finally were like, hi, we
And he
listen to
at
the
least,
podcast.
I know, I felt like a little bit more comfortable saying hi to him just because I don't know why, but I was just like, hey, I know like I'm a bikini girl and she's a figure girl. And it's like the last people you think listen to your podcast, but your podcast has gotten me through some rough days, man. Like I just, want to thank you for everything that you put out and just putting you and the guys out there, like letting us kind of in to your lives a bit and your careers. And yeah, and he was so down to earth. He was really cool to
Mhm.
talk to.
Mhm. Which I think brings up a good point about like the bodybuilding industry in itself. Like we have all these pros and like these top level bodybuilders and people idolize them. Like I know like I have people I idolize like you guys do, but like at the same token they're just people. And like I would even say I look up to some of them more than like a celebrity. Like to me they are a celebrity when really they're just doing their thing and competing and like just doing the best that they can. So like my favorite is Sean Clarita because I emulate with him. He's literally taken the time to talk to me and like remember who I am as before I even turned pro. And then he was right there and he was like, yeah, congratulations, like you're gonna do awesome and stuff. And just really inspirational to be like to take the time to just talk to you and stuff. So as we move up in the ranks, like that's essentially why we started this podcast is to spread our knowledge and to spread tips and stuff. And they've always done the same thing for us. So that's why it feels kind of weird sometimes going up to them and kind of like fangirling over it because it's like I'm not trying to be like, oh my God, but like you're also like, what do I say? But like you're really cool and I don't know what to say to you. So yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel like Carolyn, you'll probably relate to this a lot just with the bikini girls is it's like some of them I admire their work ethic and the physiques that they've built and maybe how they carry themselves as a professional athlete. But a lot of the bikini pros don't really give you a lot of them. You know what I mean? It's a lot of their posts are either like for their sponsors, which is, yeah, of course you have to do that. And they might give you like little tiny tidbits here and there, but you don't really get into their world very much. And I understand why. Like, I totally get like not everyone should have to just put all their personal shit, or not personal shit, but all their trials and tribulations and obstacles online. Like, I respect that, but I also like can't connect with them then. It's like having
Mhm.
a friendship that's based on nothing, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Versus like bikini pro wise, like Phoebe Hagen, Carolyn, like she does put like I can relate to her a lot because she actually gives me something to relate to, you know what I mean? And she talks about, when she's fallen out of love with the process and took a break and like the stuff she's been through with her preps and having to pull out of preps and just her body struggling. Like she talks about it. We can all relate to that. Like we've prepped enough. It's like, oh my God, okay. Like
Hmm.
you understand, and I'm not crazy. You know what I mean? So it's like going up to her. She's probably, I think she's the only pro, her and Maureen are the only ones I've ever gone up to. Cause I like with Phoebe, I was like, girl, like, thank you for talking about that because it's just so nice to know that someone on your level like goes through some of this stuff too and you can offer insight and like how you got through it and I have so much respect for that because it's hard to put that out there with tons of people to weigh in on your life and your career. Whereas the guys on the podcast, it's like they share so many intimate details of their whole lives, like their bodybuilding career, their relationships, the really dumb decisions they've made, mental health issues. Like they talk about everything, all their steroid cycles, like, you know, things that they did that they shouldn't have done. And it's like, how could you not connect to them, even though we're not open bodybuilders? Like they're just humans trying to figure life out and they're talking you through all of that. So it's like, of course, anyone can relate to something that they're talking about and they're putting their bearing part of their souls out there versus like a lot of our bikini pros. It's just they don't as much, which again, I get it, but it's harder to have that like connection where you go up to them and you're like, dude, like your perspective and you sharing that really got me through XYZ. And it really meant a lot to me that you came online and talked about it because it got me through that day, you know?
Hmm. Hmm. I think that's important to, and like, I think what we all try to do on our pages and talk about our experiences and why we started this too was to talk about it's not all just sunshine and rainbows and like the glamour of competition day. Like it's not whatsoever. So like there's always stuff you're going to go through, but bodybuilding is just a part of your life. And that's what helps you get through all the shit, you know? So that's why it makes it so relatable. So that's like you said, like I follow more open bodybuilding than I do my own division. So it's just easier to connect that way. And it's fun. So yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be the ones that we relate to the most that we're going to look forward to because they brought us through those tough times. And that's why every time, like at the Arnold, I try to get a picture with Phoebe and just like connect with her because that's like been tradition, like every single time. Oh, Arnold Olympia, Arnold Olympia. And then also to see her go through struggles and fall out of love for the sport. Yeah, that was me last year. So, and also trying other sports and trying something new so that you can come back to bodybuilding. So it
Mhm.
is pretty cool. And I know like all athletes eventually go through that, but not so transparent, at least with females.
Mhm.
Um, Males, we see it all the time. Like they're all doing endurance sports right now. They're trying new things. And females, you don't really see that very often. Usually they'll do bodybuilding, fall out of love for it, and then you'll never see them ever again. So it's very different. I think it's because we have a lot more pressure on our own self about aesthetics and physiques and how we present ourselves versus men. It's more like, yeah, I put on 20 pounds after McDonald's last night. Cool. You know, it's like whatever.
It's just the societal expectations, you know, like dudes, they expect them like to just put on some weight and like they're cool. Like girls, if you gain a little bit of weight, people are like, "Oh my God, did she like let herself go?" You know, and like, or is she still competing? Like, I don't know if you guys probably get this all the time too, but like I'll get people, "So are you still doing that bodybuilding stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah, never stopped. Like I'm still competing, yeah. I'm just in off
Call me
season."
fat bitch.
Yeah. I'm like, is that a fat joke?
I want some nacho fries, bitch.
Like I can eat a lot of food for a nugget, but man, I'm not fat.
Nope. That's the thing too, because I've gotten that a lot. Like in the last year and a half, they're like, "Oh yeah, so what are you doing now? Like, are you not competing anymore?" And I'm just like, and also there was even one comment on Instagram. I had posted like one exercise or something, and they're like, "Glad to see you're consistent again." And I was like, I
Oh,
Oh, you're
I,
like, I
I
never
don't record
stopped.
every single workout, letting you know. Like, I know you like know me, but you like don't know me. Like, I
you
don't
are like the most consistent person of all time.
like training never stopped. Even all of last year, I still went to the gym, still did my thing. I'm just not recording it for the gram. I'm actually recording all those videos, like the one or two that I will post. Sorry, there's like six others that I recorded for Nick. Like,
Yeah.
like post like one, and then I'm dumping the phone. Like, I'm
Yep.
gone.
I have the same thing. I record my videos. I maybe post one, and then it's like the rest just go to Luke for video review, and that's it.
And I already like hate recording in the gym because it's so busy and I have to prop it against a water bottle because I will not get a tripod. I refuse. I'm not an influencer, nor will I try to be.
I have
So
a tripod.
if the gym was empty, okay, maybe we can talk. But
I mean,
not when
our
the
gym is pretty empty, so I can basically just walk around with that sucker and like put it wherever I want to. So like, I don't give a shit. Plus, no one in my gym is gonna make a comment about what I'm doing because I'm the only pro at my gym. So I'm like, make fun of me, come do it. I dare
I'll just
you.
ask Natalie. Hi, Natalie. We know you listen now to the podcast.
Oh, does she bring a tripod to the gym?
Well, no, I'll just like ask her to record. Also, there's someone at our gym that always asks us to record him, and we're like, no, we don't want to.
That's one way to
You're
do it.
like, no.
He's so innocent, and we're just like, no, we don't want to.
Can we all agree for any of the small, very, very small percentage of the bodybuilding population listening to this? Do not make comments on other people's food or training or anything. Do not make passive comments. Don't fucking do it because you have it. Oh, it pisses me off. Like the comments on the food are up there also.
Hmm.
Just don't do it. Just if you're trying to be supportive, just be like, this looks amazing, or you look like so strong and happy, or whatever. Like just something that's not insinuating that, oh, that you were inconsistent. Because you like, first of all, you weren't.
Right.
I mean, I don't post ever, so people probably just think I don't work out at all. Like, does she even do anything? No, I just lay here.
You're
I
like,
just,
oh
yeah,
yeah, she's back in prep again. She must have started working out again.
dude, my mom will still ask, like, so are you just gonna like, so you just trained for like 16 weeks? I'm like, uh,
It's always hilarious when people are like, so you just do this for like that time, and then you're like, you can eat normal again, right? And I'm like,
That
this
question is
is normal. Like you, or you mean like just go out for burgers and pizza every single night and like you do? That's not normal to me.
sorry, I'm on the RFK diet. I don't know what you're talking about.
No
I'm
red dye
drinking.
40.
Oh, people that now. Sorry, I eat beef tallow. Like,
You're like, I only drink alkaline water and I only eat placenta. And yeah, or
God,
some dumb shit. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's really rude. Don't make comments about unless someone's asking your opinion, don't make comments like that about what other people are doing.
No.
And yeah, I think like I was eating like oatmeal one time and someone made a comment how it looked and I was like, are you choosing violence today? Because I will bring the violence. Like
Mhm.
what?
Or my favorite in prep.
Yes. Literally, I will call my best friend Carolyn and she will also bring the violin.
Yeah, you just need to call me up.
Just call me up.
My like biggest pet peeve like thing in prep is like especially in prep is when people are like, "Well, can I try some of that or can I have a bite of that?" And I'm like, "Fuck no, you can't. I need every little single grain of rice in this thing." Like, no. I got pissed at someone one time because they like asked me at the gym, "Well, can I try some?" And I was like, "No." I just like said it like that and they were like taken aback like I was just kidding and I'm like, "I need this. Like this is mine."
Well, I mean, okay, let's pretend like someone just doesn't know you're prepping. It's like, okay, but I find it odd just to ask someone for their food, whether they're prepping or not.
Mhm.
Unless you're like someone's spouse. Like if Dan ordered something and I wanted to try it, like,
Right.
okay, he's my husband. Or if you're with like your best friend or something. But like for some rando to come up to you and like, what?
It was someone at the gym that I knew. I can't remember who it was, but like, and I
That's
think they were just
weird.
joking, but I just like was full on like, no, don't mess with me today. It's not the day. Like it's just not one of those days, man.
Yeah, today's not your day, bro.
Today it is not happening. Oh man, that's
So,
hilarious. No, but it was such a good show.
mhm,
I loved it. I was sad Samson didn't win. I saw why, but I was sad just
yeah.
because I love Samson.
Hmm.
And Derek, he's fine. He has an amazing physique. He has an amazing physique, obviously. He's, been Mr. Olympia in open once and several times in 212. So it's like, okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
He's obviously amazing. I just like Samson and I like Samson's physique. So I was just I was like, man, but
Yep.
hopefully that fuels him for the Olympia.
Me too. I agree. And like from what we know about Samson, he's not someone that's just gonna like sit down and like take it. He uses this kind of stuff for fuel because like he came from being a construction worker, blue collar worker, got into bodybuilding, and he just excelled at it. So he's always had to overcome stuff, and it's just like not everything else. So and if you keep winning too, like I kind of imagine like Sid Gillen from Figure. She was just so unbeatable, and at one point during her career, like her training was so just light, hardly doing anything, just kind of volume work. Like that's gonna just not be very fun at some point, you know? Like we live to train, love to train. And it's funny because now that she's retired, I see her posting so much more videos of stuff of her training, doing more things. So it just seems like she's enjoying it more. And I just can't imagine like just winning all the time and like that would kind of take the fun out of it, you know?
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know. If I won 8 Olympias, I'd be having fun.
Well, yeah, that's true.
gotta choose.
Sorry, Caroline, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no, you're right. I mean, if you had to choose like Olympia versus, and having to train kind of, I don't know. Actually, now that I think about that, I'm kind of like, but
And
also,
obviously not all 8 years she like couldn't do that, but once she kind of got to the standard, obviously it was like we can't really get much bigger, you know? And
Oh,
so
totally. No, I know what you're saying.
yeah, so not for the full 8 years she was training like that, of course. She had to work hard to get there. But yeah, I mean, I feel like after so long I just couldn't do that any longer. So I like to train. I like to train way too much.
it's very common for bikini where most of the girls they can't train hard. They can't get
Yep.
any
Hmm.
because of that. Like talk to Jazzy about it. I'd be curious what her training was like for this last prep. But I remember we had talked about it in the past where a lot of her training was just very steadfast, just very, very simple, just because couldn't add any more muscle to her.
Hmm.
I can't wait to be at that place.
Right.
Not really, because like that, obviously, like you said, like we love to train, but
It's 50-50. Yeah.
I think it's more so like if someone told me like, "Ooh, you have a little too much like muscle," that's like the best thing I could possibly hear.
That'd be a great compliment.
Oh my gosh, my glutes are just so ginormous. Darn it.
Oh, dang, I
No,
got huge glutes. Whatever shall I do?
but man, what a plight. I think I can relate to that a ton, not because of the reason being I don't need to add more muscle. I for sure do. I have been probably for a solid year and a half, maybe 2 years, dealing with a lot of like chronic pain that has I have not been able to train all out for a couple of years. Like I have to be so strategic and careful. Like certain movements I can go all out, certain ones I can't, have to implement volume just because of my neck and my back. Um, I'm not gonna lie, it's fucking miserable. Like it sucks so bad. Like I sometimes like there's been multiple times like Dan and I walk out of the gym, I'm just like breaking into tears because I'm just like I just
Mhm.
want to train so bad. But it's like every time I start to feel a bit better and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go push it, I just like tear something or and I try to not train fearfully because like you can injure yourself because you're thinking about it. So I try to just like, go in and not think that way, but it's hard to completely remove that. So I've had to limit my movements to things that don't like last week I hack squatted for the first time in forever and it felt so good, you guys. Like it felt so good. I went just like a little heavier and I felt fine during it. And then later that night, I got woken up by a full neck spasm
Yeah.
just from like the weight of the hack squat on my shoulders and it just causing the tension and the tightness. Um, and I was like, fuck, like I just can't.
Can't
And
catch a
my neck,
break.
no, and just for like on x-rays, my neck is totally straight, which is why this is partly the problem. Yeah. And I have like a slight, nothing close to scoliosis. I just have a slight bend that pulls my left erector. So it's so
Mhm.
tight.
Mhm.
So it's just kind of like I see people talking about like just going all out in training. And even when my first year of training ever, like I have nerve pain down my right quad. I have like it's so, oh my God. It's when you have an able body, and even mine's more able than some people, it's just like that's the greatest gift of all time. Like if I could just go in there and just like grip it and rip it every day, I would probably like break down hysterically and cry just at the gift of being able to do that.
I wish that for you.
Thanks.
I really
I
do.
do. I'm like, I'm doing everything I can think of to mitigate it. It's like I go to all these specialists and get all these treatments and therapies done. And I don't talk about it a lot, like on Instagram or anything, because it's like, it doesn't fucking matter. Everybody's got their shit.
Hmm.
Uh, but like I was talking to Jazzy actually about that, like what was the difference for her? And she was like, just going balls to the walls training. And I was like, how'd your body feel? She's like, so good. And I was like, oh God, I would love to be able to squat down and stand up without something feeling like it's fucked up. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like just so it's like I'm also like, okay, I'm grateful for what I've been able to do with those little things that I have because like nothing's broken or herniated. It's just things I have to work around. But every time I go train, I'm like, okay, go slow.
Right. Right.
Well, I think that's important for people to know, though, is that beyond just training and nutrition, there's so much other things outside of that that go into creating a good physique. If you have little tweaks and muscle spasms and stuff like that's actually pretty normal. And getting body work done, getting massage work, chiropractor, those are the basics, that you're gonna have to do. And you going above and beyond and doing like, I think you said you do like PEMF therapy and stuff too sometimes. And like, I know
Yep.
some people do dry needling, stuff like that. Everyone's different in what they need, but you do have to do outside work. It's not just go in, train your ass off, and go home and eat. It's you got to do all the recovery in between too. And if you want to prevent injuries, and especially after you do get injured, when it happens, not if, but when it happens, because it will happen at some point, how are you going to pick yourself up and keep training and keep going and not that let that deter you, you know?
Yeah, it's so and that's yeah, that it's so true. Like that's the thing is like that's just my obstacle with bodybuilding is my body is just not I don't like using language like that. Like it's not this, it's not that. It's just my whole life I've not been the athletic chick. I was like really skinny and had no coordination and really slow and clunky and it doesn't mean I can't do it. It just wasn't as natural for me as it was others. That's why I'm trying to be really careful about the language I'm using for myself because it's so important. There he is.
Hi, Dan.
And
Hey guys.
Right on time.
Yeah.
Yep. There's the baby. Not on place or anything. See, I'm trying to be careful of not like putting myself in a box and then just
Yep.
thinking like, oh, this is where I have to stay. It's like, no, like I'm just going to listen to the specialists I'm working with and what I should and shouldn't be doing with that stuff. And everybody has something. And that's the thing that's not super natural for me. And I'm just got to find a way around it. And it's fine. It's just like, it's either that or something else. You know what I mean?
I love that you said, like, I'm not putting myself in a box because that's a lot actually what Tyler told. Oh, look at the
You
boy.
did not like,
Yeah, I
need a baby.
Look at the little baby.
Look at his baby.
He's like, I hate this.
He's
Oh,
yeah, he's not. You're a good sport.
so,
but no,
Yeah.
I was saying like Tyler would always say too, like, don't put yourself in a box, Kayla, because you could have anxiety, you could have a certain condition or disease, but you're only limited by what your brain tells you you are. So if you tell yourself that, well, I can't do this, guess what? You're probably not going to do it. And, it's like you said, you have to work around those things. It still is possible, but you have to just maybe do it a different way. Or you might have to work a little bit harder at it. And that honestly makes it more rewarding in the end because you have to work that much harder to get it. So it just kind of shows how much you want something.
Yeah. I mean, because I know I have so many clients too that with in the age of everybody has a therapist, everybody else has a diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it becomes their identity. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, hey, that's just something you're working through right now. That's not your identity. Like you are not your anxiety disorder. You know what I mean? It's something you're working through right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that's why I catch myself doing it too, because it's a very natural thing. Like, oh, it's like, no, I need to just be responsible for it. And yeah, there's certain things about the sport I've chosen that don't come, that I have to work through, but I just have to work through it. And it's for other people, it's other things. For me, it's that. And it's fine. That's why I just try to like walk into the gym. I'm like, all right, today's a new day. Just going to warm up. And if something starts acting up, I'm going to choose a different exercise or take a little longer and do the best I can with what I have today and then show up again tomorrow and see what happens. And try not to like, sometimes it gets to me for sure. But it's either that or what the fuck am I going to do? Quit? That's not an option. So it's
Right.
like, no, I just got to keep working at it until I find what works and found some things that work. Oh yeah, thank you. The demon is awake now. So baby, that outfit is so good.
thank you.
I wasn't fully awake this morning when you left, but he has on these like charcoal like pants and a black shirt.
Ooh.
I'm turning red. Sorry.
Oh, I love it.
I looked over at him and I was like, oh my God,
You're like, oh, that's mine.
that's crazy. I know. I'm just like, really? For me? No.
I mean, yeah, we've all had our fair share of struggles through things. Like, Carolyn, you can relate to that immensely as well, with your hormone issues and your health issues you've had to go through, and you're still here, what, 10 years later?
2009. Getting old.
14 years later?
Yeah. Oh God.
No?
Try.
My math is off. I can't math, you guys.
16, my dude.
16, that's what it is.
Oh God.
Oh, I should have went 2010 to 25. Yeah, okay, I got it now. 16
There
years.
we go.
I got it. I can math, guys. I'm smart, I swear. I have a
He uses
master's
a calculator for everyone's macros. Don't worry.
degree.
Yeah, I will say it was funny with thinking of it being like 16 years later and meeting influencers. It was a little, yeah, it's very weird because you know how like when you go to your first Arnold or your first Olympia, there's a lot of people that you look up to and you're very excited to meet them. Most of them, for at least for both, all three of us, are we're looking for the educators, the ones that are open and transparent and are doing frequent podcasts because you feel like you get to know someone better through these other platforms, through things that are uncensored and unedited. And I love you, Natalie, but we were in line for Buff Chick supplements. And I've seen them like a couple ads like here and there on Instagram, whatever. And I was asking her, I was like, okay, like there was this girl in front of us and she was clearly very young. We're like, oh, like where, how did you find the Arnold and what's your background, things like that. And she's like, oh yeah, no, I'm in college. I was like, I graduated like 12 years ago. And, and she's like, yeah, I'm in college. I'm super excited to meet. I don't even know what her name was, like Alexis or something like Maddie, Abigail. I have no idea. And and I look at Natalie and I'm like, so what are we in line for? Like, who are you really excited to meet? And I still don't know who the person was. And she was like, yeah, no, she got really famous on TikTok. And I was asking, oh, is that how you found the brand? Is that how you found these influencers? And she's like, yeah, no, Buff Chick like completely did all their marketing on TikTok and have all their influencers do videos every single day, like multiple times a day. And then that's how they've been able to grow their supplement brand as big as they have. And there was a huge long line to not even meet the owner. It was just one of the sponsored athletes. And I was like, we're in line for who? Like, what did they do? Like, I know there's like Sam Sulek, like he's very transparent on his YouTube. That's where a lot of guys are very, and he's young and he just does his thing. Like that's what a lot of people are very inspired by. It's not my thing, but great for them. And these people that we were waiting in line for simply were famous because they have a lot of TikTok videos. And I was like,
Do they like train in the videos? Like what are the videos?
I don't have TikTok,
I
so
don't either.
I can't. So I don't even know. Like I was like, okay, so they do like recipes and like talk.
I think because Natalie was telling me about it, and I think this girl had like recently turned pro in figure.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that's where I think it was. It was like she is a figure pro and she may have done powerlifting before. Like her body looked very much like she was a powerlifter.
Hmm. I don't know who it was either, but
On
yeah, because
um,
she had mentioned it to me, and I was like, I don't know, man.
yeah, so this is just and it was very apparent at the Arnold. This is just the new influencer culture because the
Hmm.
Young Lemonade booth was the largest booth there.
Oh yeah, that thing was massive.
well, they
Yeah,
were a headline sponsor, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's
yeah.
probably what I
I,
feel like, you know what it is, which is it's just kind of how it is. People that are very good at drawing you in on the camera, you know what I mean? Like one, you have to have a good physique. You know, I guess you don't have to, but I mean, if you're in fitness, like that's got to be part of it. But two, I feel like there are some people that are very charismatic and can draw you in on when they're on the camera and they're really good at it and they just make you want to keep watching. And then there's those same people I think tend to not all the time, but sometimes have a harder time in person engaging in the same way because engaging with a camera and engaging with a human are two very different things.
Mhm.
Um, that's why for a lot of people, it's one or the other. Like I have the hardest time talking in front of a camera. It is, oh my God, like I will freeze because I had to do a video for my non-bodybuilding job and it was just like an ad thing. And I was like, I'm not the person for this. Like I was so uncomfortable. I didn't know what to say. But if I'm talking to a human, totally different. It just is this kind of weird. So sometimes people are just, they're really good at engaging with the camera because it's maybe for them, it's less anxiety to have not a person there. And then for somebody else, it's the opposite. It's like more anxiety when it's not a person. You're kind of having to create everything that's in front of you. Um, and some people are just really good at it and they draw them in. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Mhm. Hmm. I've had to really learn about that with the camera thing because I was always like really nervous about it too, and like the first time I like did a little selfie like story thing on Instagram, I was like, I look stupid. I feel so dumb. I'm talking to my phone. This is weird. And now it's like pretty second nature because I mean, I do have TikTok and I do try to post more regular, like once a day
That's
or
how you
so.
market for your business. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, and because I mean, I'm full-time coaching, like I kind of I have to,
Yeah.
and I have been finding it like more fun recently too, where like before it took me the longest time to be like I have to post a certain way, and I just hated it, and I was like, what do I talk about? I don't want to talk about gut health and digestive enzymes again today, and stuff like that. So it's just been a lot easier to be more relatable online now too, but. It took a long time to get over that. And I'm just like you are, where in person, I can just spout off like crazy and I'm like good to go and can talk to anybody usually and like no big deal. But on the camera, don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like for people, it's just sometimes for people that are really good in front of a camera, because it's just them and they're creating the content, um, it's way less pressure, it's like, oh, if I don't like it, I can just stop it and do another one.
Hmm.
It's not real time. Um, and then there's also something very unnatural about engaging with something that's not alive. You know what I mean? It just feels it's very odd for humans in a human way. And then there's, people that are like, oh yeah, if a person is in front of me and they're giving me feedback on like, not feedback like criticism. I just mean like they're giving you something, like they're having a conversation with me and they're saying something and then I'm responding and then they're responding. And that's how it kind of you're creating it together and you have somebody on the other side. And there's no redos, but it's a lot more organic versus some people that the pressure of saying the wrong thing or being judged or all those things come up a lot. And so for them, it's like way more uncomfortable. And it's just a camera. It's like, this thing's not judging me. This thing, can't possibly think I'm stupid or whatever. I can just retake it and it's no problem. And then they come alive.
Hmm.
Uh, and those are the people that have millions of followers, probably.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I just like if I do a story talk, which is like, I don't know, never. I just post it and don't watch it. I'm like, hope for the best. Like, hopefully I didn't
I
say
do the
anything.
same thing.
Yeah. Like, hopefully that didn't come off the wrong way, but I just can't. If I watch it, I'm gonna hate it. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
No, I just remember years ago, for the last team, we had a complete content weekend and we just simply were recording and how to do movements so that we could have an exercise library. And like, we've done this like all the time. Like we know how to explain a movement. We know how to explain, yes, this is working XYZ body part and this is doing XYZ. Make sure you do the form this correctly. I had never been so brain dead after one weekend after doing that for video after video and demonstrations on every single exercise that you can think of for a directory. And it was
Hmm.
by that Monday, I was like, just no one talk to me. Just
Hmm.
and imagine that all the time. Like I do give content creators a lot of credit because you
Yeah.
do have to be creative. You do have to be on your game all the time. And
Hmm.
so influencers, yeah, so there are kind of like oddballs out there, but the ones who are very good at it, like the highest level of podcasting and the highest level of, what's his name, like Mr. Beast or some of the other YouTube channels, those who are uploading every single day and always on their game, yeah, they're they're a different breed. What, Dan?
oh, he's talking to the dog.
Oh, I feel the same way. I feel like you have to be a very extroverted type of person to do that and just be super creative. Like I a run of ideas. I'm not super creative, but I get by. Like I do a decent job, I feel like, but it could always be better, of course. But I know like especially after the Arnold coming back and like I love being around all of that and like all the people and whatnot, but when I get home, I'm like, I need a day to just be by nobody. Like I need to like recharge my battery because it's a lot and it's exhausting being around. Like I think that night when we got home, we slept like 10 hours that night. We went to bed
Girl,
at like 9 o'clock.
I wish I could sleep 10 hours.
It was not until Tuesday that I got my 10 and a half hours.
Really?
Monday, I had to go straight into work.
Oh.
and I was like 6 hours, and that's it. And
Yeah,
also,
me too.
yeah, it was just such a late night because one, like also being on a diet, you do have to hit your steps, and I was in the car for 7 hours. So
Hmm.
Ugh,
I don't know
yeah.
how Lee and I did it, but we talked the entire 7 hours. I was like, what?
You're like, my jaw did steps. Does that count?
Yeah, just like have my wrist moving at the same time. But no, we also even like, well, I'll tell you guys later. Separate from the
That's a
podcast.
story for off the podcast.
Yeah.
I forgot to tell you guys where how our trip home ended up going.
So what
So
happened with the plane?
yeah, so we like everything went fine and whatnot, but like so we had to get up at
It was
4
6,
a.m.
like 4 hours
Sunday.
after we hung out.
What was that?
It was like 4 hours after we had hung out that you guys had to leave for the airport.
Yeah, we slept like 3.5 hours that night. It was
Ugh.
fine. I mean, we knew we were gonna stay up late, and we were like, it's whatever. You can sleep when I'm dead, you know. And so we got to the airport, got on the plane and whatnot, and got to oh yeah, this was to Minneapolis, and this is a like literally like a three person seater airplane. So it's like decent size, but still Tyler sits in the seat and he's like this, right? And I always put him on the end because I want to make sure he has enough room and like I'm like a half a person, so then he can kind of put his shoulder like over me and we just move the seat up, you know. But the other person that's sitting next to me was the open overall winner of the amateur show, and he was the
Oh,
heavyweight dude.
Oh my God. Did you
He's
talk
from
to him?
Minneapolis. And so we were like, oh, well, this is a funny coincidence. Um, so he ended up sitting next to me on the other side, and he's like at least 6 feet tall, like 275 on stage. And then so he like so I'm just sitting in between these two, and they're both like this over the top of me, and it was hot. We all like
Oh, why you
let
should have switched seats with them?
yeah.
well, I was in the middle of two big dudes, so like that was all and it was a full flight.
Oh, they didn't want to be next to each other to talk.
Well, we all just talked anyways.
Oh, I thought they were like talking over. I got it. I
No,
see what
no,
you're
it
saying.
was good. So we all were like, oh, hey, like, yeah, we're from Fargo, whatever. And like, we started talking and stuff. And we talked the whole like 2.5 hour flight to Minneapolis at 6 a.m. So we were going to sleep, but we ended up not because we were just talking. So we made friends, which was great.
That's
So
cool.
they're going to come up to Fargo at some point. We're probably going to meet them down there because they train at the new Los that's down in the cities. It's a gym that's around here. And, so probably gonna meet up with them at some point. But yeah, that is probably my favorite part about doing all these expos and shows and stuff is that you really meet some good, genuine people there. And then you get to know people from like all over the place, which is so much fun.
Oh, totally. That's so cool. Like I would have loved, oh man, I bet that was such an interesting like chat with him.
It was. It was really good. Like we talked like bodybuilding philosophy, like we talked about his journey and stuff. And he was 36 and he just competed naturally for like lots and lots of years and like just kind of came over to NPC and like hasn't been he like pretty much did his own prep too and like he was talking about how crazy it was how many like news places were reaching out podcasts were reaching out to talk to him because he won the overall and like he looked in did you guys see pictures of the overall winner from the amateur
Yeah, he is amazing.
insane, like insane physique. So yeah, he's got a really good future ahead of him, I think. And
That's so cool.
yeah, it'd be cool to follow that now. So yeah. And then we met his wife too. She was standing right in front of us. She's a figure competitor and stuff. So I was like, hey, we can be friends. So
You're like, I'm surrounded by bikini girls. This is nice.
fine. I love it. I love you guys. So I'll take it. And yeah. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. By
Yeah.
the way, I have my screen off because I'm just changing for the gym while I'm still chatting with you, and no one needs to see that.
So yeah, it's gonna get us more views.
I don't, eh,
Gotta start this OnlyFans.
not the views we want.
True.
They're gonna be like, why is she so bony?
Oh gosh.
You know, when you're in prep and you start to like your knees start poking a little bit and you're like, oh
Mhm.
no. And you
Oh
only look good
no.
in your suit in a pose, but in clothes, you just kind of look like a bag of remotes.
Hmm. Hmm.
Ah,
It's kind of like, this is the kind of like shitty thing about bodybuilding is like there's never like that. The only time you're at like a really good in between phase is like that like 6 to 8 week out mark where you're like still feeling like okay, you got a little bit of body fat, but you can still see things coming through and like your clothes still fit pretty good versus like right towards the show when you just look like Skeletor, you know?
see, I don't know, man. Like even 6 to 8 weeks out, I am like in hell. Like,
That's true. You said you've always had hard preps.
well, not it's not even just that because my upper body leans out so much faster.
Mm.
And so even like at 6 to 8 weeks out, I'm just like really veiny everywhere. I have like, I don't know, like I just don't want like etched in, not etched in, but like hard, rock hard abs and like my butt's gone. Like I
Right.
kind of like just my off season. Um, Not even like, I don't know. I just feel like I think also too, Kayla, you've got so much more muscle than I do that like that part you still look, you know what I mean? Whereas for
Hmm.
me being tall and then, just how my physique is, I'm like,
Yeah.
eh,
That makes sense. I was gonna say like you hold your off-season physique very well.
oh well, thanks.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Not there's been times where it's been
Oh,
pushed for sure.
we've all had those times.
We've all, yeah.
We've all been there.
Where I'm like, like this is challenging my what do you want to call it? Like not body image, but sometimes even you catch up like a wrong angle and you're like, oh,
Hmm. Carolyn's like, I'm there now.
yeah, I
Yeah,
feel you.
yeah, it's one of right now, especially when weight is moving very slowly off the diet. Like, yes, I started it end of January, so we're over a month now, and I think it's starting to click. I think it's starting to like here and there, and it will do these like massive like drops, but then stay there for a month, and then we'll have a drop, and then stay there for a month. So at least that's like what's happened in the past, but I think I'm at that point now where it's like, even though like there's no prime reason to wear something different to the gym, I'll put on an outfit that I intend to wear to the gym and then I'll hate it and then change 5 more times. And I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, I'm not taking photos. I'm just to train. Like it's literally the difference between two different t-shirts.
Hmm.
And that's where, and it's not even like OCD or, being shallow in any sort of way. It's just like this isn't comfortable. I want to change.
Yes.
You
Yep.
don't feel good in your clothes, like whether it's because trust me, like you guys will relate. Like even when you're really lean, you don't feel very good in clothes. You know what I mean? It's just,
Nope.
yeah, you're like, it's just like there's that time where you're just like, okay, I just look like bony now. But when you don't like I feel like your training is better when you're even in your off season, of course. When you just feel good, like something it fits right and it looks cute, like it's like okay, you know what I mean? Like it just feels better. I don't know how to describe it. Does that make sense?
I actually had less cares closer to prep because obviously your mind like doesn't care at that
Yeah.
point. But also I knew that like my clothes looked better. But also, there's always those few pairs of leggings that just kind of like look like they're about to fall off at that point. And you're like, I'm not gonna buy new clothes at this point. Like,
Oh, I know. And you're just like, oh.
Hmm. Hmm. That's why
sometimes
I always wear like oversized t-shirts. Like that's been my thing lately. I have so many, and it's so comfortable, and then I just don't have to care about like people looking at me looking at myself, being like, "Oh man, my like stomach is sticking out on the set," like whatever, and I just go in there and I just can train and just stay focused that way. And so I like to, oh, look at that sexy top.
hey.
Not, it's like the shittiest Forever 21 top of all time.
What I like about gym tops is that we can cheap out, but it's leggings that we should spend a little extra on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Like
Yeah.
I like to wear like tank tops and or like crop ones that like go to my like pants because I don't want my like I don't like my stomach showing. And So I'll do that and then just wear an oversized t-shirt. But if I get too hot, I'll just take that off and then it still is like covering everything. Oh, you got some.
It's
Yeah.
the best. So for those that are watching, this it's going to be probably a brand that none of you know. So Gorilla Mind, which is the brand from Derek from More Plates, More Dates. So I tried one of his energy drinks like a few months ago. Sorry, Enzo has opinions right now.
Oh,
Um, and it was so freaking good. So like, let me try his pre-workout, and it's the non-stim, the tiger's blood, which is like strawberry coconut. You guys,
Yeah.
I just did like a cross on my body. It's so good.
Yeah, I've been a big
So
fan.
good.
I will say, like, obviously, White Monster is my favorite energy drink, but I do like the ingredients in the Gorilla Mind as a very close second. So it's one of those where you'll just have extreme focus and being able to just be on your game. So especially like before the weekends with training, I'll just bring those along. And it's so great. You can find them at the Vitamin Shop or GNC. The black cherry, all the flavors are really good. I've had all of them, so
I had
Yeah.
the strawberry candy one and that was bomb.
Oh, that's the best one. The strawberry candy is like
Hmm.
so
That was
good.
good.
It's the
Otherwise,
best.
when we were at the pros gym, the owner of I Am Uprising, the Kratom soft gels was there,
Yeah.
and we got to talk to him. Super, super great guy, really down to earth. He gave us a couple samples. I tried one during training, and holy shit, I was like focused, but like calm and like just super chill. It was like the coolest thing ever. So I ordered some because I'm like, I need to have this stuff in my life.
what was the company again?
I Am Uprising. I think Guy is the other owner.
I
Well,
was
they sponsored the IFBB Open Division last year, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Or they're just like a headline. They're a headline sponsor for all of last year for the Olympia, I think.
Hmm.
yeah, I thought so. There was I knew it was like a Kratom sponsor, but I wasn't sure if it was I'm Uprising.
I feel like if I took that, I would like something bad would happen. Like I would get really sick or something. I'm just so sensitive to stuff like that.
I read up on it too, and I mean, they're still doing research on it and stuff, but it's kind of like you don't like feel a certain way. You just feel really calm. Like Tyler took some even the next day at the expo because he gets really like anxious in like big crowds and stuff.
Yeah.
And even when we were doing that, he was saying yeah, he's like I actually feel like pretty good right now. He's like I don't really feel super anxious or anything. So
Oh,
it
well,
was cool.
that's awesome. Well, hell yeah.
So yeah, so we're gonna take some and I'm gonna try it some more and use that and whatnot. And so try some Kratom, guys. It's great.
Kratom is crate. Sorry, that was terrible.
I love your cheesy jokes.
They're really good. Well, we're gonna go to the gym, you guys.
I was just gonna say, do you need to get going?
Yeah,
What do
Okay.
you
gotta go do the thing.
Train
And
the glutes.
include?
you know it. That's all I train. It's not all. I have like a upper body day once a week. So that's on Saturdays or Sundays, one or the other.
Whatever day.
Every day is glutes. Yes.
Glutes for days. All
But I
right.
love you guys so much.
I love you too. Love you guys and have a good night. Talk to you later, Carolyn.
Hey, talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye, girly. Love you.
Love you guys.